The Widow's Peak. P-E-A-K?
No, it's PEEK because we stand for Widowed Men and Women Peaking into Hope-Filled Futures.
Is there a need out there for this?
Yes, there very much is. In 2008, I lost my husband of 25 years, and I went through a grief ministry, and that was very helpful. I was able to really heal and begin to accept the place where God now had me, but I was really trying to figure out what my life was supposed to look like now because everything had changed. Eventually, I felt like God was leading me to start a ministry, and I had other ministry leaders in grief ministry asking me if this ministry would include men. So I started asking God, if you want it to include men, you'll have to bring a widower in my life because I don't know anything about them. So God brought Mike in my life, and we were actually widowed the same week. We didn't know each other. We lived 3 hours away, but God had us eventually meet, and we started this ministry together. And now we offer resources and various things to help encourage the widowed community with testimonies of other people and just helping them understand where God is taking them at this point in their life and that God still has a plan for them. And in the process, we actually started learning about what happens to widows in some developing countries, particularly in Africa. And so we have now expanded in Africa, and we actually provide a ministry for widows all around the world.
So you've done all of this in 5 years. You're overseas now. Is this volunteer work?
I volunteer 60 hours a week to do this ministry.
Okay, you and Mike have been married for how long?
We just celebrated our 5th anniversary.
Okay, so you were widow and widower for 3 years.
2
years. Mm-hmm. And that's a pretty good amount of time to let the grief go by. Now, I know this issue of trying to figure out who am I at this point in life comes up for everyone. You run into it all the time, don't you?
Right.
and to deal with that takes longevity.
Yeah, it does. It's not. It is a process because there's still the process of grief that has to take place.
Yes.
And a lot of times, fear holds people back from exploring possibilities, or maybe they sense something maybe God's put on their heart. They're not sure how to really go about it or approach it. And so we hope that our materials and our ministry will help them, just give them that extra push they need to really explore where God is taking them. Actually, this year we're on target to begin an internet television program for the widowed community.
Really?
Where we can have people demonstrate how to do things like when you lose your spouse.
How to fix a leaky faucet.
Exactly. So you are now taking on the responsibilities that your partner had for many years, and maybe in some cases you never ever had to learn to do it yourself. Or just simple things like, how do you fix meals when you're just cooking for yourself?
How do you make a friend
things.
as a single person?
Exactly, because widowed people do lose their friends. They lose their coupled friends when they become widowed, and they feel very alone. And so I think an internet television program will not only offer encouragement and help and discipleship, but it will also help widows all over the country realize that they're not alone and that there are millions. There's over 11 million widows and widowers in the United States, and we want them to know they're not alone, that we're all taking this journey together, and there is another side they can come to.
Yeah, and is this an outreach, this idea, I don't mean exactly Widow's Peak, but the need you're serving, is this something that people watching this could be inspired by and say, it fires up their imagination, and they go, well, we could be doing that in our congregation or our community?
Oh, absolutely. We're just 2 people who started this ministry, but we know that we really need to let the churches and people in the community know what we're doing. We want to try to help churches be able to establish effective ministries right within their own church families. And to do it in a way that they don't have to start from scratch. that we have resources and studies and Bible studies and different things that we've put together that they can incorporate into that ministry and go from there.
And Mike is out in the parking lot waiting on her. He doesn't know what's going on. Tell him we all said thanks.
Oh, I will. And he won't mind. He'll be happy to know what I was doing.
I'll bet he believes in it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.